All of this latest activity by the White House in sending out a clearly bogus jobs report, making the focus to sell the Obamacare plan even after passage, and so forth indicates just how completely out of touch they are with America. It is obvious that they don't have a clue what is really important to most of us, and they probably never will. But there's a good reason for this. All normal-minded conservative folks, and we do make up the largest segment of society, are capable of understanding the liberal mind, but the liberal mind will probably never comprehend us. Hopefully, you watched the video and saw the glaring contrast between the liberal nutcase and the adults rallying. It's really worth watching the dichotomy. There are many scholarly works on possible causes for the mental defect of liberalism, and I agree that it is a mental defect. A mind that does not strive for excellence and achievement in its given environment flies in the very face of the Darwin and natural selection they claim to adhere to so strongly. It's simply not a natural state for a person to spend their adult years wanting to be taken care of rather than making their own way in the world. However, it's not necessary to understand all the psychological and possible genetic factors that go into making up the liberal mind to see just a few of its obvious manifestations: distorted view of fairness where all benefits flow one way, revulsion toward responsibility, even if it means decreased life benefits, constant state of existence as a victim of others, refusal to allow others benefit of their work, jealousy toward achievement of others, belief in a nanny state or a constant caregiver with no strings attached, ignorance as to how money is really earned and its value, lashing out personally against ideas that don't match their views, indifference to the rights of others, as long as theirs are allowed, disparaging of the norms of society, but willing to use them as weapons, elevating all wants and needs to the level of inalienable rights. The list is not even close to being inclusive, but the pattern should be emerging to anyone who has successfully grown through the early pubescent years of human intellectual development. If you have a teenager, you're being reminded of it once again. And this is precisely why we can understand liberals, but they cannot understand us. We have been there. It's a normal part of our development to go through this phase. The abnormality is being unable or unwilling to grow beyond this stage into responsible adulthood. In other words, liberals live in a constant state of teen rebellion, lashing out at anything that does not serve their needs, immediately. Some may ask, well, what's the harm? What damage could such a mind do? In the body of a 13-year-old, the damage is much easier to control, but it is still dangerous if not controlled. It is obvious why we set minimum ages for driving, drinking, and voting. The normal mind is capable of handling these responsibilities at those ages. However, in the body of an adult, with access to all of the benefits of adult life, the damage can be immeasurable, even with a small percentage of these defective minds in society. They are willing to become single-minded of purpose and band together to obtain what they want. They do not believe in any rules, except for getting what they want. Unlike a 13-year-old that might slam a door and throw a tantrum, when these folks throw a tantrum, it is loud, public, and it gets attention. Because they don't care about rules, they will damage property and do and say the most outrageous things to get attention. They have the ability as a result to fool normal people into believing that they are a larger group than they are. According to Gallup, we only have about 20% of the population that really is deeply liberal. The rest of society is made up of about 41% conservatives, and about 35% moderates. It's believed that many who list themselves as moderate in current polls only do so due to the constant demonization of conservatives in the media, but they still hold conservative beliefs. So, how do you deal with liberals? Remember, you understand them, and they don't understand you. They are not willing to consider your viewpoints as valid. In fact, due to their immature state of development, they probably see you more in an objective rather than human form. To them, you are simply an obstacle to their desires or something from which to obtain desires. Therefore, dialogue is rarely going to be possible. My preferred method of dealing with liberals is to smack them down when they make a direct, personal attack. In no way should we give them even a momentary impression that we will put up with this behavior. It is their preferred method of attack. It's also important to make them understand that they are up against an immovable force. Again, this goes back to dealing with teenagers. Being consistently firm in opposition to their plans or bad behavior is essential. Knowing that liberals will demand you play by rules but they do not, you can expect that they will accuse you of every breach of conduct possible. Liberals are very much that snotty kid that pulled your hair in 7th grade that cried to the teacher when you slugged him in return. You'll be called racist, homophobe, selfish, greedy, anything they can throw at you to try to make you back down or get on the defensive. Don't buy it for a second. Your natural instinct is to defend yourself. Don't bother. Your facts will fall on deaf ears. They don't care. They only wanted to put you off balance and use the moment to take advantage. Understand that liberals often feed off each other's beliefs, even if they are completely outrageous and untrue. They engage in a kind of groupspeak of lies upon which they reinforce their distorted worldview. Remember the table of Marxists in your student union building, always sitting together, making their plans and dreaming of their world, their way? Every school has at least a few of these somewhere. You knew they were nuts just by the look in their faces. Don't engage this aspect of their interaction directly, individually. Just throw in a monkey wrench of facts or ridicule from time to time to interrupt the twisted flow of ideas. Liberals are shallow of emotion and thin of skin. They are easily offended and take offense at nearly everything. Knowing this can give you excellent opportunities to throw them off balance. They can also be easily angered and even demoralized if you pick the right weak points of their fragile psyches. Liberals can easily be defeated in public rallies. They are usually in very small numbers compared to what the average Tea Party group can turn out. Counter-protests are very effective. You'll find that if you turn out in 10 times the numbers to each of their little gatherings a couple of times, their numbers will decrease in the future. This is by no means a complete guide to understanding and battling liberals, but using your own well-developed adult common sense, you should have all the basics necessary to draw upon your own experience and handle these people in the future.